Welcome to today's explainer. Okay, let's picture a totally familiar scenario, right? You're doing everything right. You're hitting the gym, you're watching what you eat, you're putting in the work. But despite doing all the right things, something just feels kind of off.
It's not some dramatic overnight collapse, you know? It's more like this silent, sneaky loss of vitality. Your edge just feels a bit dull. You're burning through your energy way faster. Daily stress feels 100 times heavier. And honestly, just finding the motivation takes so much more effort than it used to. And that, right there, is exactly why whispers about testosterone and creatine catch your ear totally differently than your run-of-the-mill fitness advice. Because, look, it doesn't sound like a cheat code. It sounds like that one missing puzzle piece. You start wondering, is there just this one thing my body needs to finally flip the switch back on? And that thought sticks. Because deep down, we're not chasing some arbitrary number on a scale, and you're probably not trying to look like a pro bodybuilder. You just want to reclaim your sharpness. You want to manage life's stress without feeling totally wiped out. Honestly, you just want that I can still do this feeling back. So naturally, you try adding a scoop of powder to your morning routine. And hey, maybe the scale goes up a tiny bit, your muscles look a little fuller, you might even squeeze out one extra rep. But emotionally, you still feel fatigued. You still feel stressed.
All right, so let's dive into this because this is where things get really messy. When you don't get that emotional and energetic pop you expected from that powder, what do? You turn to the internet for answers. You grab your phone, type a few words in, and bam. Suddenly, you are thrown right into the middle of this massive, uninvited internet war. You're just hit with this absolute wall of aggressive, totally contradictory noise, and it makes it literally impossible to figure out what is actually happening inside your own body.
And this perfectly captures the crazy dilemma you're trapped in. On one side, you've got people absolutely screaming that creatine is basically a legal steroid. They're swearing it's this miracle hormone booster that's going to unleash beast-like strength. And man, if you aren't taking it, you're throwing your manhood down the drain. Because, the internet is never dramatic, right? But then you look at the other side, and the voices are just as loud, but way darker. They're warning you that creatine is a dangerous toxin. It's going to destroy your hormone balance, wreck your kidneys, and make all your hair fall out. Two completely opposite extremes, and both are delivered with absolute, unwavering confidence. So, you're stuck in the middle, right? Just trying to figure out who's actually lying and who actually understands the science. Both sides are waving around these scientific studies to back up their claims, but neither side can explain why you still don't have that quiet vitality you were looking for. Well, here is the secret. The reason neither side makes any sense is because they are both wrapped up in a fundamentally flawed debate. Literally everyone is asking, does creatine boost testosterone? Now, I know that sounds incredibly logical, but it is entirely the wrong question. And asking the wrong question, well, that just leads to the wrong expectations and, inevitably, disappointment. So let's just set the record straight right now. Creatine is not a hormone, period. It is not remotely similar to testosterone. It doesn't do the same jobs, and it absolutely does not send some magical command to your body to manufacture more testosterone. It lives in an entirely different biological arena. Creatine is simply an energy buffer. Derived from amino acids, your body makes it naturally every single day, and you get it whenever you eat red meat or fish. Taking a supplement, you aren't hacking your biological structure. You're literally just topping off your body's natural fuel tank. Think about it like this. If you expect creatine to act like a hormone switch, you're going to be staring at your lab results waiting for a spike that is never coming. Instead, we have to look at what physically happens. When creatine enters the body, it quietly goes to work down at the cellular level. It allows your muscles to store more phosphocreatine, which is basically your rapid response energy reserve. And because of this, it pulls water into the muscle tissue right alongside it. So that slight initial weight gain you might see, that's not fat, it's hydration. It is exactly like adding coolant to a car engine. The outside of the car doesn't change, but suddenly that engine can run way harder and way longer without overheating. Now, here's the absolutely crucial part. How does this all connect back to your hormones? Well, testosterone doesn't just operate in a vacuum, and it doesn't just dictate your strength all on its own. It responds to signals. The physical stress you place on your muscles, the total volume of your training, and how rapidly you recover, those are the signals. Because creatine gives you that extra energy buffer, you can push that barbell for one more rep. You can add a few extra pounds to the bar. You recover faster between sets. Creatine itself doesn't boost testosterone. Heavy lifting boosts testosterone. Creatine just amplifies your ability to lift heavier and recover faster. Makes sense.
Now, a lot of people stop right there. They talk about creatine as if it only exists from the neck down, like it's exclusively a biceps molecule. But let's keep going, because this builds into something way more surprising. There is a whole other dimension to this energy buffer that almost everyone completely misses. And honestly, it might just be the exact key to that missing feeling of vitality you've been looking for. Get ready for a massive aha statistic. Your brain makes up only about 2% of your total body weight. Just 2%, yet it consumes a staggering 20% of your body's energy. It is literally one of the most energy-hungry organs you have. So when you pile on a lack of sleep, incredibly long working hours, and just constant, nonstop mental stimulation, your brain is the very first thing to fatigue. And guess what? Your brain uses creatine too. Just like it does for your muscle fibers, creatine acts as a reserve energy buffer for your neurons. When your brain is stressed out, this extra energy provides clearer thinking and actively reduces mental fatigue. You finally stop feeling like you're walking through thick mud, and this is huge for your hormones. See, chronic stress spikes a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol actively suppresses and messes with your testosterone. So by acting as an energy buffer for your brain, creatine lowers that mental fatigue and cortisol, which indirectly protects your testosterone from getting absolutely crushed by chronic stress. This is exactly why people report feeling so much more motivated on creatine. It's not because their testosterone spiked to the moon, it's because that heavy, exhausting burden on their system was finally lifted. Okay, I know what you might be thinking right now. The science makes total sense. The biological mechanics add up beautifully. But you probably still have those internet horror stories lingering in the back of your head. And hey, we can't build trust if we just gloss over those fears. So let's take a quick second to systematically clear the air and take down the 3 biggest myths that keep people absolutely terrified of a totally natural molecule. First up, the legal steroid myth. Like we just talked about, steroids flood your body with synthetic hormones and literally shut down your natural functions. Creatine is just an energy molecule your body already makes. Moving on to myth number 2, kidney destruction. Look, studies spanning literal decades on healthy adults taking standard 5-gram doses show absolutely normal kidney and liver function. What's actually happening is creatine raises a blood marker called creatinine, which doctors look at to check kidneys. But in this specific case, elevated creatinine just means your body's processing more creatinine, not that your kidneys are failing. And finally, the big one, hair loss. This entire internet panic stems from a single small study on rugby players that showed a temporary hormone spike. They didn't even measure actual hair loss, and those results, they haven't been consistently replicated since.
To really put that hair loss myth into perspective, the source text gives us this brilliant analogy. Blaming creatine for hair loss is like blaming a single drop of rain for a storm. If you are genetically predisposed to losing your hair, there are numerous intense factors, including that heavy, intense physical training you're doing, that are already pushing that needle forward. Pointing the finger solely at your daily scoop of creatine is completely ignoring the reality of the storm going on around you.
See, the true risk of creatine isn't some kind of biological damage. The real risk is completely misunderstanding what it does, treating it like a magic potion and then ignoring your basic health fundamentals as a result. We have all been so deeply conditioned by the internet to think in these tight 30-day windows. A 30-day challenge to change how you look, how you feel, and to judge if a supplement quote-unquote works. But listen to me. Your biological and hormonal health does not care at all about your artificial 30-day deadlines. Your body is playing a decades-long game. When you zoom out, the question completely shifts from, will this spike my testosterone right now, to, am I actively building a system that will keep me strong, resilient, and capable for decades? And creatine fits beautifully into this long-term perspective. It is not a magic pill designed to magically rescue a broken, unhealthy system. No, it is a highly effective, supportive player for a lifestyle that you are purposefully and actively building. Because over time, more muscle means better insulin sensitivity. Less inflammation means better hormone balance. And consistent training strengthens your hormone receptors across the board. So let's break down the actual biological hierarchy of vitality, the true formula. Number 1, regular deep sleep. This is non-negotiable, guys. Your body manufactures the vast majority of its testosterone while you are in deep sleep, not while you're doom scrolling on your phone at 2 a.m. Number 2, compound strength training 3 to 4 times a week where you are actually pushing your limits. Your body fat, your stress levels, and your foundational health set your baseline. And it's only once those 2 primary engines are fully up and running that step 3, taking just 3 to 5 grams of creatine daily, truly shows its incredible value. You absolutely don't need any complex cycling phases, and you certainly do not need those expensive, fancy blended supplements. Just 3 to 5 grams a day, taken literally whenever you remember. Drink plenty of water, just let the creatine act as the tuning for your engine, supporting the hard work your lifestyle is already doing. Because supplements tune the engine, but your lifestyle is what actually builds it. That is the real secret to being stronger in your 40s than you were in your 20s. It's not about hacking superhuman hormones. It's about building a superior internal environment.
And so we arrive at the ultimate crossroads. You can totally continue scrolling through the noise, staying trapped in those endless internet debates, constantly searching for some secret magic hack to fix how you feel. Or you can step away from the noise. You can focus on the absolute fundamentals of sleep and heavy lifting and let proven tools like creatine simply support your journey. Will you keep searching for a secret? Or are you ready to start building an engine that will last for decades? The choice is completely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.